Hello Twin Flames, this is Victoria and I'm here with your daily energy check. Today we're going to be looking at what's going on in the karmic life for both DMs and DFs, and we're going to get some cards of advice for each of the twins. At the end, as always, I'm going to pull some cards between Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine, and of course we're going to start with an Oracle deck, and today it's going to be the Sacred Traveler deck. Haven't used it for a while, so I missed it and decided that it's time. So let's get a card for DF and then for DM, and we'll move on with the tarot portion of the reading. Hope you guys are doing well. I hope you liked the reading I did yesterday with the connection spread, the relationship spread. I don't do them a lot, but from time to time I feel guided to talk about the connection itself, that sort of third entity basically that represents this connection, the twin flame connection. Let's see. And I was getting quite a lot of, I got two cards for the feminine. I was getting quite a lot of different vibes and nudges and energy shifts yesterday, and to me it was a lot connected with what's going on in 3D in karmic situations for both of the twins. So I decided to speak about it in this reading today and to see what's actually going on, why I was getting, because I usually get these vibes from the collective energy. I do not deny that some of it was about my own twin flame journey with my DM, but also I get tuned into the collective vibrations and energies, and I realized that because of how intense those were, I realized that there is some sort of collective pattern, collective vibe at the moment, which is of course another part of that big transformation we've been talking about for the month of November. Really, this is the last week of the Scorpio season. We had quite an intense week energetically last week, and by the way, happy new week as I'm recording and posting this on Monday. And yeah, now is the time of that integration when it comes into fruition and it cascades into the thicker 3D layer. So the feminines have got two cards: staying focused, hold the course, and navigating by the stars, follow your bliss. I love that they actually kind of about the same thing but from different angles. Sometimes it can be hard, the road, right? But it's important to stay the course, not get distracted. B, in any and every situation you can find your bliss. Navigating by the stars basically means you don't have any other tools for navigation, mostly because it's dark, right? You're at the night time, right? There's nothing else around, and you can still navigate by the stars and find your bliss, find your way, right? Follow your bliss. So it's a lot more about this intuitive joy and happiness. And even if, I'm getting for some, there are like several scenarios, even if externally it may look like it's not really your thing, or it's not something that you would normally do or like doing or enjoy doing, and some people may actually call you out on that, it's more important that internally, deep down, you feel good about it, you feel content, you feel excited, right? So that's really the key thing that matters. Let's see what we have for Divine Masculine at this time. Okay, that was quick, but we'll take that. Also two cards. We have Watching Clouds, lie back, rest and relax, one of my favorite cards. And View from Above, get the big picture. So yeah, hammock actually feels quite appropriate here, especially if you can hang it up very high, somewhere high in the tree, or maybe a tree house, why not, right? Or multi-storied building, whatever gives you that perspective, Divine Masculines. So it's important to give yourself a break, to pause for a moment, to just chill, to relax, but also not just, this is like a hangman energy, the two of these cards. Not just chill randomly, but get a perspective on your situation. get the big picture. Okay, so let me this a little bit more so you guys can see at least the tarot side. So we'll get the cards, the tarot cards now for what's going on in the karmic life. First of all, for divine feminines. Okay, we got Seven of Swords in reverse. What do we have for the masculine 3D karmic situation? What do you need to know about divine masculine karmic life? The Emperor, interesting. Okay. What's the advice for the feminine? Four of Pentacles. What's the advice for masculines? Queen of Pentacles in reverse. This is the mother figure, and I remember it was in the previous reading too. Bottom of the deck, the Temperance. So there's this continuation of balancing out masculine and feminine, and also the logical and the intuitive side of our life, of our consciousness. Please clarify Seven of Swords in reverse. Okay. Five of Swords. Yeah, I was thinking about it. Please clarify the Emperor. Wow, Ten of Cups. Please clarify Four of Pentacles. The Knight of Wands. Please clarify Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Queen of Wands. Ooh. Bottom of the deck, Eight of Wands. Yes, communication is coming in from all sides. You see, this is a bit different representation than in the usual decks, the classic deck, right? It's like, you know, there will be a lot of sources of information during this time. There are a lot of sources of information. So it's important not to ignore any of them. And not necessarily that all of them are to your highest good, but it's important to be able to assess what they are, not to miss anything important on the way. Okay, so I'm gonna start with divine feminine, and actually I will do the feminine energy and advice, and then we'll switch to masculine energy and advice. So yeah, as I was looking at the Seven of Swords, actually I was caught by the idea that the person is running away with Five Swords, leaving the Two Swords behind. And that's in reverse, and it's clarified by Five of Swords. What I'm getting here is divine feminine has got enough of chasing ghosts and some untangible dreams, you know, the promises of somebody else, the promises of society, of some sort of authority figures, things that you hear are supposed to work but are not actually working for your life. So this is, and they're just giving you headache and more anxiety and heaviness on your mind, right? It's not by mistake. And do not think that it's like denial or you don't understand something. It's the other way around, because actually subconsciously, intuitively, you understand that some of those things that you are following, you agreed to follow for one or another reason, right? We know how that can happen. That's not genuine. That's not true for you, at least. But you still kept going before. And now this is like the end of that self-deceit, basically. And that's what was giving you the headaches. That's what was causing that circuit break I'm getting. That it's like you couldn't even blame anyone else for that. So the situation would not pan out as promised. and you would be holding yourself responsible that something was wrong with you, right? Now you're like breaking that cycle, right? You're seeing the picture and you're like, okay, that was never even like, that was never meant for me, right? That never suited me. It was not a choice for me to take, right? It was not the path for me to be on. But I agreed to it. It didn't work out. You know, again, part of the situation is to learn the lesson, to acknowledge, right, that this was useful source of information. You understand better how it works in general, how it worked for you, right? Your train of thought, basically, right? How did you agree to it? And understanding how important it is for you as a light worker to be able to heal that pattern for yourself and to understand how it works to help others. Because ultimately, a lot of people are chasing ghosts and this kind of promises all their life. I was just talking to a friend of mine yesterday who has been doing that. But I mean, in his situation, he kind of was inventing those things himself, but it was still like, you know, every time I would hear, and I mean, I've known him for a good, I don't know, 15 years. And all this time, he's been talking about something, and like, he had another brilliant idea of like, I don't know, how to get very rich suddenly, right? How to sell his product or whatever. And he's in spiritual business, largely speaking, right? I was like, I knew that was never gonna work, but I'm like, okay, well, you know, the person is excited. And yeah, he basically, he's still doing it, right? So that's also the case. And I'm like, okay, so let's imagine this kind of person comes to me as a light worker for a session, and they're wanting to know why none of their ideas are working out, because they were good ideas, they had good product, etc., etc. It seems like they did their homework, but to me, again, as a light worker, every time he was telling me a story, I could immediately see like the holes in it, of like how it was like, I don't know why you think it's gonna work. And it didn't work out eventually, right? But of course I didn't want to discourage him. I didn't believe in myself as much either, so I didn't say anything, right? But I'm like, okay, so when I get to have experiences like that in my own life, I understand a lot better how other people get involved or get sucked into this kind of situations, and how I may be able to help them. The guidance is Four of Pentacles, clarified by Knight of Wands. Yeah, so this is acknowledging what you do have, what you have accumulated, what you have learned, really, right? But also the foundation that you've built. It may not be enough, but it's about understanding that experience, those experiences that you've had, because yeah, I'm being corrected that it happened more than once in your life, including this recent time. They've helped you gain certain new skills and perspectives that you wouldn't have otherwise, right? So maybe you don't have as much money as you would have expected, or other material resources, right? But you have that inspiration, and the Knight of Wands is kind of at the level, it's like intermediate level, right? So you already have some knowledge. It's like the spark is pretty bright now, right? You kind of, it's like a flame that you have some knowledge how to tame, or at least how to read it, right? What is that inspiration about? What is the next step? Now I'm talking about the flame. I'm almost getting burned by my candle. Anyways, you know, like, it's ultimately showing you how to find balance between this wild energy of inspiration and passion, and also a more grounded energy of applying it into your life as an idea and as an action. For masculines, we have the Emperor, clarified by Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, so the masculines are actually understanding how they have tried to sort of manufacture certain pictures of happiness in their life, right? They were trying to be in control of it. they were trying to say, okay, it's all in my own hands and I can create whatever I want in my life, right? And the other part of it, the tricky part that a lot of people get caught into is, I've built this for myself. So now I'm supposed to find happiness in this life that I've built for myself. You know, especially when we have a problem facing certain aspects of it, either for ourselves or telling other people that we made mistakes or this wasn't true, or especially telling your life partner, right? Because here we have the life partnership. So this is most likely about the romantic relationship. It's bitter sweet, and it's actually pretty heartbreaking to be telling your partner who has been confident all this time that you guys were like real deal and would last forever, suddenly tell them that you realized that this wasn't real, or they were not real in this relationship, or whatever the situation was, where they were manufacturing the emotional fulfillment but they didn't have it for real. Imagine how hard it is to face that truth and to speak out that truth to a person, right? So Divine Masculine understands that once again they are in that situation, most likely with their romantic partner, with a karmic partner. Karmic partner doesn't have to be a romantic partner, but in this case it's most likely a romantic partner. For some it's a friend, it's a colleague, it's a business partner, but somebody who they have pretty close partnership with, who either they have been together for a long time or they had planned to be together for a long time. It's this realization, really. And the advice is Queen of Pentacles in reverse and Queen of Wands. So yeah, we have the feminine energies here, by the way. The Queen of Pentacles is the mother figure, and the Queen of Wands is actually the masculine in this case. So Divine Masculine is learning, or that's the kind of energetic nudge, to leave behind figures of authority, elders, mothers, some sort of role models that have set certain expectations for them for their life, that have tried with or without hidden agenda, have tried to create that life story for DMs. You know, what is your romantic partner, life partner supposed to be like, what kind of lifestyle you're supposed to have, what kind of job you're supposed to have. We get that still even these days. We get it just too often, where the parents try to create that for their children, especially if they see certain doubt, right? They just write it through. We see that from friends, especially older friends, or like I said, any kind of figure of authority. In this case, it's likely to be a feminine figure, but again, it doesn't have to be a mother, it could be somebody else who presents certain value to Divine Masculine. And they're asked to tap into their intuition and that's the feminine kind of aspect of it, their intuition and their passion, right? To find that flame, to revive it, so that they can use it as a navigator, as a light, you know, like almost like as a torch in a dark cave, to be able to go forward, not rely on anybody else's version of their life. Imagine how terrible it sounds when you think about it, that somebody is creating your life for you and you're just following along. And I understand that for a lot of us, how do I put it? I've seen that actually quite a lot in life. It did happen in my own life to a certain extent, up to a certain point. But it's funny that even when it happens, we find a way to explain it to ourselves, to interpret it, or why is it okay? Or why is it really good for us? Why we don't see that as a problem, right? Or like, it's all kinds of excuses, starting from, oh, they want the best for me, or they know me so well, they would not be telling me this if they didn't know that this would be right for me. Or they've lived such a great life, of course I should be listening carefully to what they have to say, right? Like, we sort of help them co-create those stories, right? And then at some point we're like, wow, I almost feel like I've lived someone else's life right? Like those were not my choices. Those were not my desires, but somehow I went alone with that while somebody else was walking me through the story of my life. Okay, so it's a great time of recognition and integrating the lessons, like the end of the cycle when the lessons get integrated. Let's get to messages from divine masculines to feminines. Okay, we have they're waiting for you, you matter, and I meant what I said. So divine masculines really want to emphasize that you matter to them a lot, even if they're not ready to integrate you into their 3D life as much as you would want to or they would want to. They want you to know at this time that you matter a whole lot. They really, really mean it. It's not just for pretty words, right? And they know that you have your moment now with your mission, with the way that you can share your story, your knowledge and your experience with the world, with your community, with your tribe. And they really want you to move forward with it. They don't want you to be distracted with any of their nonsense that's going on in their life. So if there is a bit less communication right now, then it's divinely guided on the 5D level, or at least it's guided by like our higher self, so that you divine feminines do not get distracted with the karmic situations and all kinds of energetic recalibrations going on DM's side. Let's get some messages from feminines to masculines. Come on, cards. Okay, we have one of the cards. I'm too afraid to talk, so it kind of explains why it was hard to pull it. I just want you all the time. I'm too afraid to talk, and I just dream and wish for everything. Yeah, pretty similar messages. And what I'm getting was this, that as divine feminines are closing some of those older cycles, and they're gonna be speaking up more for themselves now and kind of being focused more on their intuitive guidance rather than on someone else's opinions, right? And external influences. They will be able to be more confident in what they do and what they have, the choices they make. They will also have more energy to dedicate to this connection, so that they are showing up for you, divine masculines, in their healthy self, so that they can be authentic and they can be the integrated divine feminine for you, right? For that experience that will be nurturing, love and kindness and mutual support, and not something else. So right now, if they're not talking to you, again, it's because they are kind of recharging, collecting their energy, and just kind of rebalancing and resetting for the new course of action, right? But in the meantime, they want you to know that they want you all the time and still have visions and dreams for your future together. So they haven't given up on you, on them, on the idea of this union. It's just that they are integrating their lessons at this time, just like you do. Okay, I hope this has been useful, guys. I love you all, and I'll be back with more readings very, very soon. Bye, everyone.